My dear friends in Christ, some years ago, a vessel sailing on the northern coast of the South American continent was observed to make signals of distress. When hailed by another vessel, they reported themselves as dying for water. "Dip it up then," was the response. "You are in the mouth of Amazon River." There was fresh water all around them, and they had nothing to do but dip it up. And yet they were dying of thirst because they thought themselves surrounded by seawater. People are often ignorant of God and His ways for coming into their lives, as happened to the Samaritan woman at the well and the people of Israel in the wilderness. How sad that they should perish for lack of knowledge. During this Lenten season, we are challenged to come to the well and meet Jesus there. He will give us living water, which is water that does not run out because it grows from within yourselves, and it quenches our thirst, our deepest thirst, the thirst for God. My soul thirsts for God, the living God. This is the good news today, Father Lakra reminds us. God is ready to flood your life, ready to flood your life with rivers of living water. Thirst for God and His kingdom, so He can use and bless you as never before. In the first reading from the book of Exodus, we read of the Israelites grumbling and complaining against Moses. They had left Egypt for the journey to the promised land. Now as they journey, their faith is put to the test as they experience thirst and are surrounded by dry desert rocks. When things go well, people seldom think of God, and blessings are taken for granted. But when things go wrong, God is immediately blamed for the situation. Yet God does not punish His people. He is patient with them. He does the impossible for His people. He provides water from the rock. Why stoop to drink from the puddles of worldly consolation if you can satisfy your thirst with the waters that spring into life everlasting? Saint Josemaria Escriva tells us. Water of Life, Hermann Hesse's book, Siddhartha narrates the wanderings of a man in search of inner peace and self-realization. As a Hindu Brahmin boy, Siddhartha had everything: intelligence, handsome features, wealth. But he was restless. So he renounced his family and set off to seek happiness. In succession, he tried the asceticism of the Eastern monks, the way of enlightenment under the Buddha, the pleasures of sensual intelligence, and the luxuries of wealth. But all of these only left him disappointed and disillusioned. Disgusted to the point of despair, Siddhartha considered committing suicide in a river when he suddenly heard from the depths of his subconscious the holy word Om that begins and ends all Hindu prayers. The remembrance of that word awakens Siddhartha's slumbering spirit to realize anew that all is divine, and that loving devotion to the universe is the way and the key to happiness. The water of the river helped him die a symbolic death to his old life of futility and emptiness, and be born again to a new life of fulfillment and happiness. Father Albert Silvicki tells us, if you wish to quench our thirst, we must lay aside books which explains thirst and take an actual drink. The gospel has the encounter between Jesus and the Samaritan woman looking for water at the well of Sychar in Samaria. Jesus is sitting by the well when the Samaritan woman comes to draw water from the well. She comes because she needs water. But there is a deeper need, a need of acceptance, not satisfied by her many irregular love relationships. At the well, there is Jesus, who is also thirsty, not so much for water as for quenching this woman's real thirst. Real thirst, strange as it might seem to, God is thirstier for us than we are for him. God is thirstier for us than we are for him. He asked the Samaritan woman, "Give me a drink." One day a lady criticized D.L. Moody for his methods of evangelism in attempting to win people to the Lord. Moody's reply was, "I agree with you. I don't like the way I do it either. Tell me how do you do?" The lady replied, "I don't do it." Moody retorted, "Then I like my way of doing it better than your way of not doing it." James Hewitt comments for us. So no soul is too small for his mercy. No sin is too great for his grace, we are reminded. Once there was a man on a train going across the desert in Arizona. He was the only person in the car who had not pulled down the window shades, keep out the glare of the hot sun on the parched earth. In contrast to the other passengers, he kept looking out his window. It seemed actually to enjoy the dismal scene. After a while, a curious man seated across the aisle asked, "Sir, what do you see in that wasteland that makes you so enthralled?" "Oh," he replied, "I am in the irrigation business, and I was thinking if we could only get water to this land, that the desert would become a garden." That's what Jesus is teaching his disciples. He wants us to see the world's people as he sees them, what they can become. Every one of them is precious in his sight. Every one of them is precious in his sight. By divine grace, they can become a new creation, made beautiful in holiness. Robert Coleman tells us, like he did for the woman at the well, Jesus gently turns our gaze from the sin of the past to the hope of our future in him. The former Supreme Court Justice William Douglas once described a visit he had made to a part of the Muslim world that segregates women much as much as was done in Judea 2000 years ago. One evening, as Douglas was talking with two Muslim women, the husband of one of the women arrived at the scene. He came cursing. His face was livid, said Douglas. He lunged at his wife with a closed fist, hit her on the side of the face, knocked her to the ground. Then the husband came to apologize to Mr. Douglas, but not for his behavior. Amazingly apologized for his wife's conduct, talking to a man. He hoped Mr. Douglas would not think too badly of his wife or what she had done. What was his wife's disgraceful conduct? She had spoken to Douglas. It's no wonder that when the woman of today's gospel met Jesus, she was shocked that he would talk to her. But Jesus goes beyond barriers that human beings create and quickly moves from the superficial to the things that really matter. If you knew who it is who is speaking to you, you would give him a drink. You would ask him, and he would give you life-giving water. In our society, the women who break down barriers are those who ignore limits. In the story of my life, Helen Keller wrote of the ways in which her teacher, Annie Sullivan, led her as a child out of the dark world in which her deafness and blindness had imprisoned her. I remember the morning that I first asked the meaning of the word love. This was before I knew many words. My teacher tried to kiss me, but at that time I did not like to have anyone kiss me except my mother. Miss Sullivan put her arm gently around me, spelled into my hand, I love Helen. What is love? I asked. She drew me closer to her and said, it is here, pointing to my heart, whose beats I was conscious of for the first time. You cannot touch love, but you can feel the sweetness that it pours into everything. Without love, you would not be happy. J. Maurus reminds us. Ronald Reagan put this across to us. There are no constraints on the human mind, no walls around the human spirit, no barriers to our progress except those we ourselves erect, those we build ourselves around. Finally, Jesus reveals himself to her as the Messiah, the one who can satisfy the deep hunger with her. And when she believed, she discovered that she does not need the water of the well anymore. Her thirst is slaked, and she leaves a bucket behind and runs off to the village to tell everyone that she has found the Messiah. And she brings the people to Jesus. When the disciples will come only with the food, she has already become the first Messiah, the apostle in the gospel, bringing people to Jesus. The Samaritan woman's most desperate need was for God's love and cleansing. And the same is true for us. The same God who came in the flesh to free the woman at the well is sitting at the well of your life, ready to fill you with the living water. The liturgy of today reminds us strongly of our baptism. It is the water that began to quench our thirst for all that is good and worthwhile, above all for God Himself. It is the water that never dries up. For baptism is not just a ritual but life, a way of life and way of living, a lasting attachment to the person of Christ, and union with the community of the church. It is the life of Christ that keeps growing in us. Jesus Himself nourishes us. In this life here in the Eucharist, let us ask Him to keep giving us the living water and make us share it with others. Let us pray. Creative and forgiving Father, you let people experience your mercy when they encounter your Son, Jesus Christ. Attune us to His voice speaking to us, your word of forgiveness and love. Disguise us to meet Him from person to person, that He may quench our thirst for life, and that we may live in joy and courage and become more like Him day by day. May all drink from the living water of His love. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. God bless.